I'm the laziest person you can meet. I hate exercise.
I think I was at a really low point. Like when it comes to me dealing with my teenage, I think at that time I realized that, okay, my body was not treated the way it was supposed to be treated as a child.
Now people want to try different cuisines, which may suit you or may not, but I don't like that. I mean, once in a way is okay, but now people are forgetting our traditional food.
Right here is a tri-generational testimony of what can happen when you actually have a deep, wise understanding of fitness and a commitment to it. Milind Soman, of course, is somebody that's occupied our consciousness for many years in different avatars. He's been a supermodel, actor. He, at the age of 37, ran his first half marathon. He's run the ultra marathon, which is a 517.5 kilometer run in 34 hours, 46 minutes. And he did that, I think, at the age of 55, you know. Even more remarkable is his 84-year-old mother, Usha Soman, who was a mother, a biochemist, had a profession, brought up children. And then she climbed Kilimanjaro when she was 60 years old. She ran on the highway with her son when she was 71. And she has gone to Mount Everest base camp. She's a committed trekker. And she has a really, as I said, wise approach to fitness. And then we have 32-year-old Ankita Konwar, who's a yoga sort of proponent. She's Milind's wife. But most importantly, she represents the other, the 30-year-old approach to fitness, but which does not follow the fitness fad. She swims, she cycles, she runs, she does yoga, and as she said, really exercising has taught her how to breathe and to overcome many mental traumas that she's been through. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Usha Soman, Milind Soman, and Ankita Konwar on stage. Thank you so much for coming. It's, you know, like I said, it's, you're a rebuke to my existence, you know. Before we get started on this, Milind said something which really pricked me hard. He said the primary duty of a human being is to work towards your own survival and sustainability. And if you don't take care of your health, then you're not an intelligent being, you know. And I was like, oh my God, I am going to fail that test. So before we start this discussion, I'm going to take an intelligence test. And an honest one, you know, not a leaked paper. Will those of you who are not committed to your health put up your hands? Wow, this is an intelligent audience. Okay. Okay, you guys have acolytes here. So
Hopefully we'll convert those two.
and start with this one. You know. So before, you know, I want to unpack your thoughts and your experiences around fitness, but before that, I wanted you to coalesce into, if possible, one word, the absolute essence of what fitness personally means to each of you, you know. So, Ankita, let me start with you, and I'll climb up the ladder of wisdom. You know?
Starting at the low point, I guess.
Yeah. Only you have to defer to age, you know.
I would say, to me, it means resilience, you know. Long distance, any kind of activity when it's long distance, whether it's running or it's cycling or swimming. In fact, even 100 Surya Namaskars, if you do, it requires a lot of resilience in your mind, a determination that you're going to do it no matter what. So, because there's a voice in your head that will always doubt you. It's very loud. And the voice that says positive thoughts, you know, positive things, that is always the small voice in your head. So you have to focus in that small voice and learn how to make it bigger and bigger. And I think just hold on to that thought and keep going. So I would say resilience, yeah.
Milind, what about you? You're on the mid-level of wisdom right now. You know?
I'd rather say experience.
experience. Okay.
The youngest might be the wisest.
That's true. That's true.
But to me, fitness means fun.
Fun.
It's fun because I mean, you're here, having been given this gift of life, which is so incredible, and if you can actually have fun experiencing life, that shows how fit you are. If you can't enjoy your life, then you need to question your fitness.
Wow. This, as I said, your presence on stage is like a rebuke. Every page of your book I read, I was like, I've got to fix my life. I am an unintelligent human being.
What's a better goal than having fun? Then enjoy everything that you've been gifted with. And we've been gifted with life, with this body, with this mind, with this spirit, and we've been gifted with this earth. So everything is there just for us to experience and enjoy. And if we can't do that, then it's a disservice to ourselves. So fun is the goal.
That's wonderfully put. Usha ji, I'm going to come to you. You had the most, well, let me not put adjectives to it. Let the audience experience you themselves. If you were to say your one-word approach to fitness, what is it?
One word. Fitness to me is to be able to do anything that you like to do.
Wow. Could you hear her at the back?
Yeah.
Would you
Hold
just
the
say
mic
that again?
closer, a little bit.
Fitness to me is to be able to do anything that you want to do. And it's not just physical fitness, it is mental fitness as well. Actually, mental is more important than physical. Because if your mind is strong enough, you can make your body follow it.
That's so true. And each of you, and again, I'd like, Usha ji does push-ups, and if she'll permit at the end of it, we'll ask her to demonstrate that to us.
Push-ups, planks, squats, skipping, lunges, yoga.
That's insane. But so now that you've kind of, each of you given your essence of it, and Usha ji, what struck me was that Milind, Ankita, everyone's had a kind of pivotal moment when they've gone back or they've rediscovered their connection with exercise and fitness. But for you, it was also something which was so ordinary, I mean, right through, I think what struck me was when you said just by virtue of being a human being, you're constantly doing things, and that itself is fitness, and then your life extended further, into accentuating that when your role as a mother and as a professional was over. So that really struck me, So I'm going to come back to that, but Milind, let me come to you. So you were a swimmer, and you said that in many ways exercise represented solitude for you, which was an unusual thing to have as a teenager. So do talk to the audience about your early relationship with exercise, and then we'll come to how you rediscovered it.
So of course, when I was young, I never looked at activity as exercise, though it is. Like even in school, we exercise our mental abilities because we want to pass from grade to grade. So for me as a competitive swimmer, it was the same thing. I had to improve my timing continuously to get better and better and better, defend my titles, break my records, whatever it is. So the thing is that I had to do it because I had a certain goal. And I got kind of addicted to that goal. I never thought about it. It was, okay, I see myself as an athlete when I was young, say 9 years old, 10 years old. I think at that age, you kind of hold on to a kind of idea, one idea. You can't have 20. And you keep pursuing that if you enjoy it. So for me, because I won my first national medal when I was 9, at my first national championships, that was a great incentive for me to continue. Because everybody likes success, likes achievement, likes appreciation. So I won the medal, everybody was happy, I was happy. I said, let's do it again. So I kept doing it. And then I got into that thing of, I feel good about this, physically, mentally, emotionally. Only in retrospect, I realized the importance of the mental discipline. Of course, by the age of 23, I had this amazing body, and which people may have seen, and and so on. But I realized that, say, that maybe the age of 40 or 45, the kind of impact that discipline had on me as a person. So you only realize later. Like I'm the laziest person you can meet.
No. No,
Yes.
you can't
Yes.
be on stage and propagate
I'm
falsehoods.
lazy. I hate exercise.
No,
I'm telling you. So unless I have a goal. If I have a goal, I will do what is necessary to achieve it. I don't see it as exercise, therefore. I see it as something I need to do to achieve this goal. Like, for example, when I did Ironman at 50 or Ultraman at 52 or ran from Delhi to Bombay, it's a very definite goal and you work towards that goal. If you ask me how much I exercise today, ask me.
How much?
So I have never enjoyed going to the gym. I understand the idea that you take a membership, but you never go, because the gym business is based on that 60% of members will never go. I mean, that's the business. Imagine, if they did go, the business would fail.
Thank God we don't have a gym as a partner right now.
Oh, sorry, you should have warned me about all the partners.
No, we
because
don't.
I might be saying some things that might be a little controversial.
No.
But I enjoy activity. Like I said, to me, it's fun. If I find activity that I enjoy, and because of my level of fitness that I've had since I was a child, I enjoy all activities. So hiking, trekking, swimming, cycling, climbing, diving. So I don't need to exercise, except as you grow older, you begin to understand that your weaknesses, and everybody has weaknesses and strengths, you need to work on your weaknesses. It could be mental, could be emotional, could be physical. You have to identify your weaknesses and consciously start working on them.
What's yours?
What?
Weakness?
I can't do a split.
But
that's
in
the thing.
addition
So-
to being a liar on stage, you're also a vain person. You know?
Oh, I'm extremely vain. But the thing is, so therefore, when you identify your weaknesses and work only on them,
No, but deeper. What weakness do you have?
now none. I'm invincible. But it's so many years now, 50 years of working on myself, and what do you expect? But I do 10 minutes of exercise a day. I'm super fit, right? So that just shows you, with consistency and regularity, what level of fitness you can achieve. Like, for example, I cycle once a year just to test my level of fitness. I don't sit on a cycle otherwise. I take the cycle for 7 days, do 1,000 kilometers once a year. And that's it. I say, oh, I feel good. I could do 1,000 kilometers in 7 days.
You're supposed to be here as an ambassador. You're not supposed to make all of us feel bad, you know. But
You can get there if you just give yourself a few minutes every day. Literally.
I'm going to come back.
I'll tell you. So I find it very difficult. One of my weaknesses, I can't stop talking. I will tell you, I started this event called the Pinkathon for women. And the mascot of the Pinkathon, when I brought her on, was 100 years old. 100. When did she start?
And she
Running.
ran.
She was the world champion in her age group, representing India at the World Masters.
Wow.
She started at 93.
Wow.
Housewife. Started at 93, competed till the age of 105. She died at 105 a couple of years ago. Competed till she was 105.
Wow.
At the international level, winning gold medals for India.
Wow.
So
Right.
you can start.
So
You don't have to wait till you're 93.
Okay. I'm going to come back. I wanted you to make that emotional connection between, you know, as I was saying, it was interesting in your book that each of you have also used fitness and exercise in a way to dialogue with your emotional and mental state. So, you know, so I was asking you also about that childhood connection. I'll come back to you. Ankita, I wanted to ask you that, you know, for you, you've said fitness, like I said, it helped you breathe. You've seen it almost as curative, you know. So share with the audience this connection between the mind and the body and emotions, you know, and how that worked for you.
I think as a child, I was really outdoorsy. I grew up in the northeast of India, so I was blessed with a beautiful forest around, and you know, I would cycle for miles, and thankfully I had that.
You
to go
cycled
back.
40 kilometers to
Yes,
school?
yes.
I just want to, as my journalist in me wants to know whether these are factual facts.
Not
you know?
to school, but from school, I would just take my cycle and go around. I always was quite outdoorsy, like I said. I used to love to cycle to the riverside and just go and hang out there. But later in life, I think, you know, it's because I had gone through a couple of things that, you know, I think kind of made me realize life a little early. Because of that, I think I lost my way a little bit in the middle. So I didn't know, I kind of lost my touch with the forest, with being outdoors, and I really had to crawl back to it. And I would say yoga is so gracefully helpful, and running, of course. I remember my sister calling me one day and telling me that, I'm pregnant with my nephew. And I just didn't know how to react to it. I knew that, this is a new life that's coming into my world, and I have to make better life choices for him because, I'm going to be a whole new thing for him. It's up to me whether he wants to look up to me or, what he wants to learn from me. I have to set that bar right. So I was like, okay, maybe I should go for a run and calm myself. And I went for a run, and I have not stopped ever since. It has been so wonderful. It has helped me running ultra distances, not only helped me physically, but mentally. It has calmed me down. Like I said, breathing is everything. We all know how to breathe, right? I mean, of course, since the time we were born. But how many of us actually know how to consciously breathe? It is so difficult. We don't know, like we're just existing. We don't realize that, okay, I have to inhale, how deep and how long, and how do we exhale, long and slow, and to calm ourselves, the nerves, and the body will, respond to that. So basically, the balance between mental and physical kind of brings you down to that emotional level that you need to be. So I think that's where the connection is.
Right. I'm again going to come back to probe both those aspects of your lives a little bit more, but Usha ji, I wanted to bring you in. Again, at one level it's beautiful that all of you are making it seem so easy, but you've been a mother, and it takes quite a toll, and you were part of a family that had 4 children, and your mother, in fact, traveled into, like, she was on a boat with. Oh, it was you?
She was on the boat with the 4 children.
You're right. You were on the boat with 4 children. Yeah, that's incredible. Yes, I missed that detail. So you know what it is to give off your body, and women's physiology has its own toll. So share with us that, really was it just a simple transition from being a housewife and a working mother to being an athlete, or was there a pivotal moment for you, and did your mind shift in some ways towards exercise?
There was no
Sorry, ma'am, will you just put...
There was no concept of exercise, as I've said in my book. We were quite active. I think my generation, I would say, at that time, everybody was active. There were no distractions like TV and all. So children played outdoor mostly, and everybody sort of walked a lot. There were no, there were public transport, but people didn't have cars then. So people were in good health, I would say. So that continued in my case. And having a family and raising it, it just, so see, if you fall in water, you learn to swim like that. Once the responsibility comes, you will face it and carry out. So like that, I don't think I made a big effort to do that. It just happens.
So when you were transitioning post-menopause, there was nothing that you had to overcome. There was no pain. There was no deterioration in your body chemistry.
I'm quite blessed that way. Right. Yes. So I had no such traumas. Some people go through quite a lot, I've heard, but I've not experienced any.
Right. And you caught the world's attention when you started running bare, like you hitched up your sari and you started running on the highway with Milind.
At this point, I would like to make one thing clear. I do not run. That was just an accidental video. Milind was running. I think it was from Ahmedabad to Bombay. And I had just gone to meet him at the border. And the day was beautiful. It had just rained. And he always said, run with me, run with me. So that day I ran with him. And because it was wet, I removed my sandals. So I became a barefoot runner, but I'm not. I only walk.
We have Aruna Roy in the audience, who's worked in the barefoot college in Rajasthan and created an entire democracy movement out of that. So it pays to be bare feet. And as I was saying, when you read the book also, this is what comes through about Usha, is just the sheer naturalness of it, I mean, here was Milind prepping and running and being the Ultraman. She just hitched her sari up and ran along because it was a rainy day, So I loved that lightness of being Usha. So let me come back to you, Milind. First, this question, why do you run bare feet? Everything that you do bare feet. So why that? And secondly, you spoke of this phase when the world knew you. You were a supermodel, you were an actor, you were drinking hard, you were taking drugs, you were partying. Talk to us about that.
Not a lot of drugs. But maybe a lot of alcohol, yeah. So so the first question, barefoot. So I started running in 2004 with the first Mumbai Marathon. I did not like running at that time. I just had this idea that I'd heard the story of Philippides running from Marathon to Athens, and it's such a great story. And I said, let me do it at least once. It maybe as a tribute to this man, And I said, it's now in my city, I have no excuse not to do it. So I ran in the first Mumbai Marathon. I did the half, the 21 kilometers. And when I was preparing for that, I prepared for about 3 months or so. And everybody was telling me that, why are you doing this? Are you crazy? Indians don't run. This is for Africans. It's for Europeans. Their genes are different. Their food is different. Our weather is terrible. You'll get cramps. You'll be dehydrated. You'll faint. You'll die. All as you do something new, how people tell you, right? These are all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. So I said, let me try. I was a little nervous. But I ran and I finished very comfortably. And I was 37 at that time. And I finished comfortably and I was like, wow, everybody's told me this is so tough. And I began to believe that it's so tough. But it was actually easy. And I'm 37, I'm going to be 40. And let me see what else I can do. Because I had stopped swimming in 1988. I had not done any kind of regimented activity for now 15 years, right? So no gym, just being active, kind of. And I ran this 21. And then I said, let's see what else I can do. So then I ran 25, then I ran 30, then I ran 42, then I ran 50, then I ran from Delhi to Bombay. Yeah. I have an addictive kind of personality, but like I've said at different times, that you can choose your addiction. Right. You can choose that, okay, this might be better for me.
But so Milind, is it completely
I didn't come to barefoot running.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're taking more leeway for conversation.
Sorry, this is 2009, and I was running in Lonavala, which is hills outside Bombay, and I'd finished a 20-kilometer run. I was feeling quite tired. So my feet especially were tired, so I took off my shoes, and I started walking in my socks. And strangely, I felt my feet were getting refreshed. So I started jogging a little bit, and I felt really good. So I said, this is interesting. Let me try running more barefoot. And then I found that it was really helping me to run better and more efficiently. It was changing my posture, changing my balance. And I thought that was quite interesting. But I still took it very slow. And it took me about 1.5 years to run a half marathon again. And 1 more year to run a full marathon. But since then, I didn't wear shoes except for places like in the snow where you need to wear shoes, or in the desert where it's too hot, the sand is too hot, you have to wear shoes. But otherwise, I prefer sandals or barefoot.
So, because you're here also evangelizing fitness and health, is this just like individual being blessed, or is there something that others can take from you? Like, do you have any playbook that others can follow?
Yeah, do what you want. So I would say learn new things, experience new things, physically, mentally, just go for it, but go slow. Every experience, every moment, every second is a learning opportunity. So be mindful. I mean, mindfulness is an old concept, it's not my concept. But whatever you are doing, do something new and experience it 100%. When I say experience it, understand how your mind responds to it. Understand how your body responds to it. Understand how you emotionally respond to it. What does it mean? So like you said, Emotions are so important. You know, the reason you don't exercise is because you don't have an emotional connect. You don't have an emotional reason to exercise. You know, I know I'm talking a lot, but the reason people start exercising, the biggest reason is to lose weight. And we know why people want to lose weight, because people are telling them they're fat. The biggest reason within that community they want to lose weight is the people who are getting married. And the reason for that is because they're going to wear their best clothes. It's the one day in their life they have to look their best. It's never going to happen again, hopefully. All their pictures are going to be shown to the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. And that is that hook that gets them into losing weight. And gets them right there till they fit into those clothes. But before they fit into those clothes, they need to find the next goal. Right. You know, because otherwise after that, it's again back to, yeah.
Right. But, you know, this addictive, you kind of glossed over this period, but you've written of it in the book.
Yeah.
How did you transit, you know, like from being somebody who was decadent and clearly your goal then was to have a different kind of fun.
I'm still decadent.
You're still
but
decadent.
I have different decadence. Yeah. No, it's not that I don't. I love luxury. Now, in terms of things that are
So there was no mental switch. How do you go from being
always
alcoholic that your mother's not speaking to, and then the next day you're running?
She used to not talk to me for days.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I always knew, because of the experience of competitive swimming, what is good for me and what is not. And we all know that. It's not like you need somebody to tell you that alcohol is bad or that smoking is bad. It's written on the packet, right? It's written on the packet, you will get cancer. We know that. We know that we need to sleep properly, sleep on time. We know we need to eat healthy food. We need to eat whole food. We know that packaged food is not the answer. So what is it that's stopping us from choosing right, right? So that is something we need to work on, to be able to choose right, to again have the emotional connect with feeling good. I already knew what it meant. Because as a competitive swimmer, I understand what it means to feel amazing. As a sports person, I know the potential of my body and mind working in sync. And I know that through my childhood, which means I'm never going to forget it, right? So as an adult, I might be drinking alcohol, but at the back of my mind, I'm saying, no. Shouldn't be doing this. I'm smoking, I'm saying, no. So eventually, I'm saying, okay, enough. It was easier for me. For a lot of people, it's not, because they don't have that basic instinct and understanding that has been honed over years, and which is so important, your childhood, to understand those values. And I believe those values must come from parents, like I have learned from my mother. It must come from parents, be an example, like she said, she wanted to be an example for her nephew. That is so important, right? And like we say, we talk about genes. You say, am I gifted, am I blessed? We're all blessed. Not maybe at the same level, we are not going to go for the Olympics. But to lead a normal, beautiful life, we are blessed. Now it is our duty to take care of the genes that we've been given and to improve on them so that we pass on better genes.
Right. So, Ankita, let me come to you. You know, you also kind of glossed over the difficulties in your life. I'm comfortable talking about it because you've spoken of it in your book. That, you know, you were molested as a child and that left you very traumatized. And then in your teenage, you lost your boyfriend, you know, to a very sudden car accident. And you had had a fight. So, you know, you didn't even have a chance to reconcile. And it was a huge uprooting for you. In this, you know, exercise came in as your kind of therapeutic. So talk about that. And, you know, what did it do? What was that arc by which exercise became your lifeline?
I think I was at a really low point. Like when it comes to me dealing with my teenage, I think at that time I realized that, okay, my body was not treated the way it was supposed to be treated as a child. And I think that was the first time that I realized that, I mean, you know, I did not want to associate with my body anymore, you know. So like Milind spoke about it earlier, you have to have an emotional connection with your body to be able to exercise. So I kind of left it there. You know, it just kept getting worse. And of course, when I, you know, lost somebody so close to me, so important to me, that kind of made it even worse. I didn't even know that was possible, but of course that happened. And to come out of it, it took a lot of resilience. And that's why I always say that exercise to me means resilience, because I really had to hang on to that small little hope that I could see, you know. A lot of us, I think we just call it because, you know, we don't see that hope anymore. And it's really, really, because it's dark, it gets dark. And it's very, very difficult to see the ray of hope. But when you see it, even if it's for even a second, you hold on to that thought, whatever brings you that. And for me, I think it was my parents, you know, whenever I saw their faces, I think that brought me, you know, that hope. And I had to fight for that, to keep that. So for me, it became like, you know, slowly I began turning to yoga, very slow, and I wouldn't say that I was doing 100 Surya Namaskars. It was just very slow progression. But when I turned to running, it changed my life, literally. I remember going for a run and realizing how liberating it feels. You know, for the first time, I felt free of the negative thoughts that was running in my head. And it's very, very difficult, you know, when you have those, to get out of that place. I think it gets really difficult. All of us, we experience it one day or the other. But I think for me, it was the longest time that I felt so dark. And when I started running, I started feeling more and more positive. And I said, you know, I'm not going to let go of this feeling, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to fight for it. And I kept doing it. I kept running, you know, races after races. And of course, to prepare for a race, you have to train yourself. And then yoga, of course, like I said, you know, conscious breathing really helps. It's because, you know, you connect to yourself at a very emotional level. You really see yourself for who you are, beyond all your thoughts. You know, your thoughts are just your thoughts. They don't make you, right? So you are much more beyond your thoughts. So I think that only comes through realizing, you know, yourself through your breathing. And
so, you know, I found it interesting that there's a moment in the book when you say that you were running with Milind, and it got overwhelming. You know, you couldn't keep up with his goals. And you actually opted out.
Yes.
And you pivoted.
Yes.
And you found your own canvas of
Correct.
what makes sense to you.
Correct.
And right through, you have this very individual approach from each of your own temperaments towards exercise, you know. So what was that? Like, you're talking about running as your great liberation.
Yes.
And yet it also overwhelmed you, you know. So if you share that with the audience, I'm sure it'll resonate. You know.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when, like Milind said, do everything slowly. To me, it wasn't that. Because it was an addiction, you know, when you see a ray of hope, you see positivity, all of a sudden, you know, your dopamine hits your brain, you want to hang on to that, and you want to have more and more of it, but you don't realize how tired you are, physically, mentally. It gets tiring. And when we got married, everything was all over the place, you know, because we were traveling so much. We had work travel, we had fun travel, and I just didn't know how to balance my life anymore, because all my life I have lived all by myself. And to take somebody into my space and accommodate their things to it, it became so difficult. So I was like, okay, you know, I have to take a step back. And it only happened, I only realized that because I was connected to myself emotionally. So I was like, this is the time that I need a break, and I need to connect to myself again on a root level. And so I did. And I turned to yoga again, absolutely, consciously, and it helped me back.
Right. So, Usha ji, now you live with, you know, or they live with you, and you are watching this sort of extreme sports happen in this most natural way in your life. What is your perspective on, say, Milind's approach to fitness, Ankita's approach to fitness, and your own? You know, what's the difference, ma'am?
Each one to themselves. They see, each individual is different. So they will react to everything differently. So they have their own way of exercising and dealing with everything. And I have mine. Like, one thing, you shouldn't compare yourself with anybody. You know, each individual is different. So you have your own way of doing things, enjoying things, and you carry on. So I'm impressed that they do so much. But that's all. I enjoy my own walk.
So what's your fitness regime?
I walk 5 kilometers a day, every morning.
5 kilometers?
Yes.
And what do you eat?
And you skip?
And you do 1 hour of yoga?
1 hour of yoga. It's not just yoga, it's exercise as well as yoga. Yoga is what, I mean, it's not just physical exercise, it's more learning, yes, it's more learning how to breathe, how to be calm and deal with things. You know, it's not just asanas. That's not yoga. Yoga means you deal with everything that you come across in your own way. You should be able to. That is what yoga is for me.
So the big elephant in the room is food, right? All of us are waging our own battles with food or, you know, fighting off the seduction of food. What is your approach to food? So you said you walk 5 kilometers, you do an hour of yoga and of asanas, and also, like you said, breathing. But what is your approach to food?
It's very simple. Eat when you're hungry. Yeah. You don't eat because it's time to eat or because you like something to eat.
Your entire generation must be freezing in their seats. You know, this is not an old wisdom. You were meant to eat at particular hours.
I know, but if that happens, if you're eating at particular time, then that you will feel hungry after certain gap, and that was our usual eating pattern when I was young. So now it's all different. I don't know. It is maybe evolution, but I feel it is regression. We are going.
What is regression? That
This, you know, no discipline.
no discipline.
Yes.
But
I
you're
mean,
advocating no discipline.
No, I'm not. I'm not advocating. See, this is like if you follow a particular pattern of eating like we used to have, then you feel hungry at that
the
time.
appointed hour.
Yes, it's not. But nowadays, I feel people don't follow that at all. You know, and no, working hours also are very different now. So the eating habits have changed. That's
Right.
why I said it is regression. I mean, I have to evolve for betterment. That is not happening because when I was young, maybe we didn't know so many diseases. But now, I mean, there is so much ill health around. So I feel it is because of that. You know, because people don't follow, I mean, not by choice maybe, but it happens. So that's why there are so many illnesses and people are unfit.
So there's not, I mean, when you're saying one, eat whenever you're hungry, and there's a pattern to that hunger.
Yeah.
But also in terms of actual foods, is there any superfoods that you have?
No, I feel that our traditional food, whatever we ate in our own region, as we have this different cuisines regionally, they are the best for you. So you should eat seasonal food and traditional food. That is, I mean, now people want to try different cuisines, which may suit you or may not, but I don't like that. I mean, once in a way is okay, but now people are forgetting our traditional food.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
So what about the two of you? Are any of the food fads, and you know, it's wonderful to hear you say this because it reinforces to me, for instance, do you eat rice? Do you eat roti? Do you have carbohydrates?
I eat everything.
Okay.
I love sweets.
You love sweets, okay.
And I love ghee and butter too. So it's not that. But eat according to your activity.
According to your activity.
Activity, yes. If you're not doing anything and just lazing around, then you don't feed yourself like that. You know, then you have to control. Yes,
This is very
that's
tragic. What about those who spend most of their lives on a computer, for instance?
Well, no, they also need food, but I won't say because they sit, they shouldn't eat, because mental activity also needs food.
Right.
But they should do some activity. It's not, and regular hours, in my opinion, is very important.
Regular hours.
Yeah.
This is just it's like my mother's voice echoing in my head, you know, all the old wisdoms that you kind of scoffed at and listened to. what about the two of you? You know, do you have a different approach to food? There's a lot of discussion now about caloric shock and intermittent fasting and vegan diets, and so have you all tried any of those? Have you arrived at your own food equilibrium, and what is that?
So I think it's because we grew up in different places, so our food preference is quite different. But the thing is that, like I said, you should eat according to the place where you live. I understand at times, like she said, you want to eat Korean, you want to eat Chinese, that's fantastic, why not? Go ahead and try it, but not every day. Every day food should be what you eat at home in that particular region, like she said, because that's the best food for that weather.
Climate.
Yeah. And for that kind of activity that you would be doing, because, of course, according to the climate, according to the weather, you will be doing your activities, right? So, I mean, I can't be eating Maharashtrian food when I go to Japan, for sure. So that's how it is. And also, I really don't believe in fad diets, because I think, you should, like we talked about, when you emotionally connect to your body, you really know when you're hungry, like she was also talking about, that your body will tell you when it's hungry. And you should be able to recognize that. And you will not be able to recognize it if you're not connected to your body. You will feel hungry anytime, or sometimes you'll feel hungry and you wouldn't even know about it. You'll go hours without eating. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I don't know why. So it's all about connecting to your body through exercise. Like you asked, what about the people who work late hours, or, who work for too long, with the laptop?
Yeah.
What do you do? So you have to make sure that you give yourself that importance, that you are that much important to yourself, that you will take out 15 to 20 minutes at least, if not, 1 hour, to connect to your body. And how do you connect to your body? It has to be through physical activity. Otherwise, how else do you connect to your body? Right? So to get to emotional
I
level...
can think of some options,
No problem with those options.
Yeah, that's good too.
That's good too. Oh, well, just for public consumption, I was thinking about like a nice plate of ice cream and gulab jamuns. That's a way of connecting with your body,
But yeah, why not? At times, everything is good in moderation. Work, exercise, food, everything. But it has to be moderation.
So let me ask you a question, Milind. All of you are really, like I said, rebukes to all of us who are not doing what you're doing. But now your life is dedicated to fitness. It's almost like your profession is fitness. So a lot of what you're doing, this awareness, this connection with your body, is that only possible actually if you foreground fitness to this level? Or can you live it in the midst of a very busy professional life?
But that's what I have done. I mean, it appears that my life revolves around fitness because that's what people perceive. For me, it's always been like this. I have not sacrificed one part of my life for this, or there's any particular focus on it. Like I said, I know people, and even actors and so on, who spend hours in the gym. I spend 10 minutes at home. So what do I do?
Is that true, Ankita?
Yeah.
I have to kind of do a fact check on him.
Sometimes not even 10 minutes.
Right.
So it's whatever I feel like at that moment, and I know the things that I need to do. Like I said, to maintain a level of fitness. And again, I understand what that means to me. As we've all been discussing, it's an individual thing. You need to know this much about yourself. How to make your mind fitter. What are your weaknesses? What are your mental weaknesses? You need to know. What are your physical weaknesses? You need to know. And it's not that difficult to find out for yourselves through experiences what you need to focus on. And then focus on that.
So you said now you've been working on it for 50 years and you've arrived at Godhead,
But I'll tell you another thing. I've not been consciously working on it at 50 years. The fact is that I have been living that life for 50 years, and now in retrospect, because people have started asking me, I said, oh yeah, okay, I did this, I've done that, and that's why I feel so amazing and I'm fantastic and all of those things. But otherwise, it's really not like that.
No, but I guess what I'm trying to extract is things that others can hold on to or use as their own sort of, pathways.
So I think people are overwhelmed.
Sorry?
People are overwhelmed. There's so much information. out there that you need to eat this. Like you said, diets. You need to be on this diet. You need to eat this, not eat that. You need this supplement, that supplement. You need to exercise. This is the best way to exercise. That is the best. It's 30 minutes. It's 15 minutes. I'm saying 10 minutes. It's how many hours a day? Which gym is better? Is kettlebells better, or is, machines, or what? So people are just overwhelmed by it. Like, how much do I need to do? So I think you need to, the main thing is, as we have said also, connect to yourself. Start with a minute of just sitting with yourself and saying, I'm going to start developing some good habits. You know what good habits and what bad habits are. So evaluate for yourself, do I have more good habits than bad habits? Everybody knows what that is. And if you've got more bad habits or less good habits, you try to reverse it. Try to build more good habits, slowly, one by one, at a very tiny level, and try to reduce the bad habits you have. Again, slowly. And so try to keep it at a balance. Like Ankita said, nothing is good or bad, it's a moderation. You should experience everything. I have experienced everything. Why not? We don't have experts telling us what to do. A lot of people think that, Milind Soman, he will have a nutritionist, he's got to have a dietitian, he will have a coach. I don't. I didn't have a coach for Ironman. Why do I need a coach to be fit, like normally fit? I'll tell you one more thing, like people think that we're extraordinary. A lot of people talk about my mother and say, my God, she's 85, how is she doing that? We have forgotten what is normal. This is normal. This is how our grandparents were. This is how our great-grandparents were. We have lost that connection, right? So start with giving yourself, remember grandparents. Give yourself that 1 minute or 5 minutes. That is the discipline you need. That's it in the beginning. That's the discipline you need. Once you connect, you will begin to develop on that connection. Right now we are disconnected. And how we know that is the statistic. From the time you leave school, till the time you are steady in your job, so that's say around 35, people usually put on an average of 20 kilos. It's not normal. It's usual, but it's not normal. The human body is not evolved to store fat. It's not evolved to become fat. So there is some disbalance, some disconnect, that we're focusing on one thing too much, and that could be your work and your career and your business, or your education, or whatever it is. You're focusing on it too much and not having a balance of something else. I'll give you another example. When I was 13 or 14, preparing for my 10th standard, my grandfather used to tell me, swimming, you have to stop. You have to focus. He was a doctor. All 4 of my grandparents were doctors. You have to focus on your studies. Stop swimming. Because I was swimming 5 hours a day or 6 hours a day, 65 kilometers a week. But my mother and my father said, no, it's okay. He can do both. Let him do both. So I was able to swim at the national level till 23. That was the gift, in retrospect, that I see, that they didn't pull me out of this endeavor when I was 13 or 14, when a lot of my peers were pulled out, which was a sad thing. So that was amazing. So you need to, again, build that. I'm saying, okay, you missed it in your childhood, because we don't have a tradition of sport and we don't have a culture of fitness or exercise. In India, we don't have it. But once you know, try to develop it. Gradually, slowly, do one thing that you enjoy. Try and do push-ups, try and do squats. These are the basic exercises. Surya Namaskar, the most fantastic exercise in the world. Just start with one in the whole day, So like I said, like you mentioned, a lot of people today, and if you're focused on your job all the time, right? But remember, your job is not you. You're a person. You have a life, right? So focus on your job as much as you want, but balance it out. So I told my friend this, who's really, I want to make a lot of money. And he's already got a lot of money. He got 100 times more money than I have. But he's like, I want to make more. I said, okay, just do one thing. Every hour, take out 1 minute for yourself. Do 1 minute of any exercise you want. Every hour. Just do 1 minute. Don't go to the gym. Don't have a trainer. Don't have anything. Every hour, get out of your chair. Do 10 squats. And sit down again. Every hour. Or do 5 push-ups or 1 push-up. Get back in your chair. And he told me that it has made such a huge difference to his life. What is that? 10 hours in a day, that's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It is not difficult if you just think about reconnecting with yourself to understand what you need, What does your body need? What does your mind need for you to be able to enjoy your life more? That's it.
That's really, at least for me, wonderfully put. I'm absorbing, I don't know about the rest of the audience, but I certainly am. You know, several things I think. One is this individual. The second, all of you have emphasized the connection. And I think now fitness has become very externalized. You know, it's very external objects and objectives and not internal, you know. And that's really quite profound, what you're saying. Usha ji, we'll talk a little bit more, but before that, I actually want to wow everybody here and me. So please do a whole routine. Push-ups, skipping. Oh, we don't have a skipping rope. Okay, just push-ups and squats and one Surya Namaskar. You have to leave us all inspired. You know?
What do you want to do first? Okay, you sprung this on her, but yeah, do it on your knees. Because you're not warmed up.
You're only her son. Stop instructing her, you know. Wow. Woo! That's incredible. Whoa. Why? That's amazing. And squats also. That's- Yes, how many of you will start doing it?
Right now. Do the squats with her.
Okay, actually, why not? Let's everybody get up. Let's do this. This has.
People who are feeling old. Who are the people feeling old? Put up your hand. Older than 85? Older than 85.
Everyone who's feeling older than 85, keep sitting. Come on. You can't be part of this discussion and not be inspired. Come, stand. Come, stand.
Have you forgotten what to stand? Standing like this.
Okay.
Ready? You ready? Those in the dark can sit because I can't see you. All right. So we'll count 5 squats. Okay? Ready? There's a man next to you. Are you lazy or old or sick? What? Like me. Like me. Yeah. Fight lazy. Okay. Start. 1. Whoa. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Fabulous. Fabulous.
You want to just put it? Okay. She's actually going to try a Surya Namaskar. Wow. Whew. Amazing. That's amazing.